In today's episode, we are going to talk quite a bit about kiosks and how kiosks are one of the most misunderstood solutions out there in the restaurant space. We hear a lot of people talk about the fact that kiosks are taking away jobs and they're not the right things to do, but there are brands that are continuing to invest in kiosks and they continue to be done in a good way when they match the brand, when they match what are the things that you're trying to do to accelerate the guest experience and really turn it into something worthwhile for them. There's also been quite a bit of the ideas of people that are like trying to just replace labor and put them in a situation where they really struggle. And so in today's episode, we're going to talk quite a bit about kiosks and some of the best ways to deploy them and some of the pitfalls that you should consider before you do that. The biggest mistake I see is that operators will just go buy a kiosk and throw them at the problem thinking they're going to solve their labor situation. And at the end of the day, that is not quite what kiosks are meant to do. They are something that can accelerate, like I said, the guest experience, but they also, if they're not done properly, can really hurt the guest experience and cause guests to not want to come back. All new tech solutions is determining what are your goals, what are your objectives, what are the things that you're trying to get done. Are you trying to just augment the guest experience? Are you trying to replace one, two, three cashiers in a kiosk situations? Are you only trying to accelerate the early adoption and the ways that certain people might adopt those kiosks, but not your traditional guests that are coming in? Are you looking for kiosks to augment those shoulder periods where you might only have one cashier on and be able to drive some of those experiences? So really the very first thing I tell all operators to think about is what is their goal? What is their objective? What are they trying to get done? Once we figure out that, as well as understanding your brand and how your consumers are interacting with your brand, those are the two top things that I think people forget to do prior to jumping in and just going in and deploying kiosks. And so I would encourage all of our listeners out there, if they're on that path to doing that, first and foremost, figure out who are your customers? How do you want to engage with them? What are the things that you're trying to solve for? What are the things that you think kiosks are not going to solve for? Identify those issues, talk with your leadership team, talk even with some of your best guests to understand what those things are and where they would be going. Then second, I would encourage you to evaluate your menu offerings. Evaluating your menu offerings and deciding, is this something that I can do digitally well? Is this kiosk going to solve in a digital manner the guest experience? If 80 or 90% of my guests are modifying something, how do I make it easy enough for them to do that? How do I make it easy enough in a digital ordering platform? Am I already successful on my third party? Am I already successful on my online? Those brands that have optimized the menu and optimized the guest experience to be able to do that, oftentimes can deploy that to a kiosk, regardless of the provider, to be able to do that. But those that throw kiosks at a problem without a clear understanding of how they're going to deploy it and what are the items at the menu that the guests are ordering and can they do them properly digitally is a huge thing. So I think, again, understanding where you're going, understanding who your customer is, and understanding what you're trying to get accomplished are some of those things that I would tell all of our listeners out there to be thinking about before you jump into, let me go find the right vendor. They're going to solve all my problems and go deal with that. The second major theme that I hear people that are deploying kiosks think about is am I just taking my standard menu offering and putting it out there? Or am I looking to drive specific behavior? Am I looking to drive them towards the menu items that I want to sell, that I can execute well? Am I looking to upsell? Or am I just looking to replace the current menu problem or the menu challenge of ordering and getting labor in to do those things? And so evaluating those things, understanding, do I need to upsell? Do I not need to upsell? Am I only upselling at the end? Am I upselling throughout the process? What are some of the things that you might have trained your cashiers, your staff members to do? Do you want those to be in the digital experience, or are those items that you are looking to stay outside of the digital experience when you do that? The thing that I would tell you, everybody out there, to think about is, how are we upselling and are we getting to a place where we have a guest experience where they would have gone to a cashier, They would have had an experience, $15 for their meal, but with upselling, they walk away and it's 21 or $22, and they don't even think about it. They may be there with their family. They're allowing each person to order their own menu items. And all of these upsells, because they're there with their children are like, oh, yeah, I want the ice cream sundae. Oh, yeah, I want the large size fries. Oh, yeah, I want the extra cheese and the peppers and onions on my sandwich. And at the end of the day, ensuring that you are careful about those things. While in the beginning, that upsell is going to be great, I would encourage you to evaluate, is that really where you want to drive your guests? Because yes, getting basket size increased is great, but not at the expense of the guests not coming back to the brand long term. The third thing, and the third large thing that I talk to our listeners about when I'm talking to restaurant operators is, do you want to integrate all of your other digital guest experience to this? Does loyalty play a part in your brand today? And if it does, are you going to extend loyalty to both accruing points and accruing whatever your offers are, as well as redeeming those offers? Do you have business rules around them, or are currently those business rules getting evaluated by the cashier? I have to have 2 sandwiches before I can get the third free sandwich. Can your kiosk offering do that? Ensuring that you're delivering as good or better of a guest experience in a kiosk is critical. And loyalty and guest engagement truly are one of those things that I would encourage all of our listeners to think about. Are there manual processes that are happening from your cashier that you are doing that you need to think about? So I would encourage all of our listeners to think about that. The last piece that we want to talk about is your guest engagement. Do you force them to go to a kiosk, or do you give them the traditional offering? When they struggle, how do you engage and solve that problem? Can they go to a cashier? I was at a recent brand where I personally like an item that is not offered on digital. Am I able to go there and engage with a cashier to get what I'm looking for? Because the kiosk doesn't offer it. It's a one-off menu item. It's not even a one-off menu item. It's a combination of 2 menu items that I like to put together. The price doesn't increase, the items don't increase, it doesn't change, but it's one of those things that I personally like it that way. And again, the brand happened to be McDonald's. I like folded eggs. I don't like the poached eggs or whatever it is, the round eggs that they sell. So I wanted a English egg McMuffin with a folded egg, but they didn't offer that on the kiosk. And so I needed to go to a cashier. Are you allowing your guests to do that? Or are you driving 100% of your orders through? Is it very clear what to do when you have a problem? Is it very clear when I'm standing at the kiosk and I have a problem? What do I do now? Do I have the capability to